back to the channel, and today we've got the lovely Emma. So Emma is a client of mine, but also not just a client, she's a lovely friend. I've been seeing Emma, I don't know how long have we been?
I was trying to work it out yesterday, and
It's probably been years now.
I think maybe about 3, maybe 4. Feels like forever,
A long
I
time.
know.
A
Yeah.
long time I've been waxing her vagina.
Yeah.
I know her so well. Today's video is sponsored by Hive of Beauty, and I use Hive's products on my lovely client Emma, who you'll see in the video today. These are the products that I use on Emma. Anyway, so Emma is a client of mine, also a friend, as I was saying, and we've got her on today to talk about a couple of little topics that we thought that you guys might like to join in with the discussion. So, as someone who is my client, my first question for you is, do you remember that first Brazilian wax when you came to see me all them years ago? Do you remember it?
I think vaguely.
Good or bad experience? You can say whatever you want. You are safe.
Oh, no, definitely good. Definitely good. I think you matched up. I found you through TikTok. So
Which a lot of people have done over the years.
I know. And I think everything that you see on TikTok, like you were exactly the same. So I think
that was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
I was going to say, do you feel that the person that you saw on social media is the same person
100%.
face to face?
Yeah. So instantly I was like, because I think I'd probably gone through your whole page, watching everything to mentally prepare myself.
Overindulged in my personality traits.
I did. I was like,
my
what?
roller coaster of emotions that I put online. Trust me, it's not all like singing and dancing. I'll have a meltdown every now and again online.
It was a scary step to take. I feel like having a wax for the first time. So I wanted to really know what I was getting myself in for. So when you actually, I think you probably flung open the door and was like, hey, and I was like, oh, okay.
The usual.
Everything. Yeah,
all
exactly. Yeah. So even though I think I was probably sweating through the fear of the wax, I think your personality put me.
Oh, that's so good to hear. I'm so
away.
happy. But that's always been a big thing for me, is that I want every client that walks through the door just to feel like they've come to see their mate.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be that big scary step that a lot of people feel. Salon life, and especially with intimate waxing, it's quite it's an intimate thing, and it's really daunting for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And that's why it's great to have a client, someone who's been through that process, to come on and say, look guys, this is what it was like. This is the actual reality. All these thoughts up in your head are so different to the truth. Because it, as much as it is an intimidating thing, it isn't as bad.
No, it's not as bad. And I think that is the good thing about your your social media as a whole, because I wanted to know exactly what you were going to be doing, and you put that out there. So I mentally prepared myself for that.
You knew
but
what to
obviously,
expect.
yeah, but then, you think, oh, is it going to hurt too much? Is it, how is it going to be when let's face it, women, we are often in positions where we're having to be,
a different form of it.
Yes. But, when we go to the doctors and things like that. So that didn't necessarily bother me so much, but definitely worrying about how it was going to feel and all of that
be painful.
stuff.
That is a big fear for people.
Yeah.
Anyone that's new to waxing, their first thing is going to be, is it going to hurt?
Yeah. But you're quick. Although I do remember, in the beginning especially, you're very much like, we can take it at your pace.
Yeah.
But you are quick. You don't stop talking. You don't even have time to really register what's going on. She doesn't. She doesn't stop. I feel like you lay down and it's done. You have a conversation.
It distracts you, doesn't it? Because we're talking about, and it's not
everything.
And I think this is really important for anybody that is in the industry and is thinking, God, I really want to build up my clientele and I don't know what is the right or wrong approach to it. I just think be yourself.
100%.
There's so many, there's a lot of people that try to be quite corporate, and there's nothing wrong with that if that's your style and if that's who you are as an individual, but it's quite hard work to keep that up if that's not your personality. Like for me, I wouldn't be able to cope with that. I couldn't do the whole blazer turning up and nice to meet you, shaking your hand.
Yeah.
It's, let's get in there, let's have a hug. Hey, Bubs, how you doing? Get in, let's get to know each other, because that's how I am in real life.
Yeah.
So for me, it makes work less work.
Yeah,
because I'm just coming in and having fun.
And for us, I feel like that will put us at ease. Well, it definitely did for me. I was put at ease straight away because I'm like, oh, she's just a normal woman. She's funny, loud.
I
and I love
liked Emma
it.
for a reason.
I know. She didn't pay me.
I have not paid her to say any of these
say the
things.
things,
We
but no.
actually have just skimmed through the topics and that is it. We're not prepared as much as what you might think. This is not me.
Yeah.
Secretly, I'm under here kicking her
She's
to say
kicking
it.
me to say nice things. Yeah, no, but you are. And so for me, that was easy. And that's, you know, and I did, you know, I think it was about half an hour drive for me. And then you changed location. That was a 45-minute drive for me there and back for a like 20-minute experience. But I would not go anywhere else.
And can I just say today, you get 30 minutes and 20 minutes. She's got trains because her car is in the garage.
Yeah.
And Emma has got a train, a taxi, everything to be here.
I even ran.
And honey, we've been doing running and that means dedication. I don't know why I'm saying that. You're on the gym.
Well, I'm trying, but I'm still not appreciative of running for trains and buses.
Oh yeah, I was going to say, running's another love. That's a completely different subject. But
it's been a journey today.
I definitely appreciate the effort that's gone into being here today, and that just shows, like, for me, that's a bigger answer for anything without no words, that the people I've met along the way would go above and beyond for me as well, which it honestly just means so much. And it's really important to have people like yourself here today, because it gives people the opportunity that are maybe really scared of taking that plunge and going, do you know what, I've really wanted to do this, or I want to go into a salon, or I've been following, it doesn't have to be necessarily me, but another waxer else, or anybody else, and I'm too scared to make that approach and do it. But actually you've just proved that despite everything, you wanted to just find out who you were going to see. And that's a little bit of a tip for people out there that are trying to run their businesses. Showing yourself is so important. And I think, because if I was to look for anybody, forget waxing, if I was looking for anybody to do any beauty treatment on me, I would definitely want to know who it was that I was going to be greeted with. Does that make sense? Like,
definitely,
I think that it's not necessarily just the wax that's important in this. I think it's the person that you're going to be stripping down and exposing yourself to.
Yeah, because it's a running thing, and it's an experience, and
it's an intimate service. And the thing is, if you don't feel comfortable with that person, regardless of how great of a waxer they are, you're probably not going to go back, because it's the person that makes you feel.
If I didn't like you, I wouldn't be travelling all that way just to be with you. But I love you so.
I love you too. I feel like I've let Emma big me up too much here now. So.
I know. I'll stop. I'll rein it in.
Anyway, let's rein that in. She's really messy. She's really.
She's quite annoying.
She's quite annoying, actually. So. While we are on the actual pod here, and we're chatting and we're on the channel just talking about anything in general, I want to just know a little bit more about you, because yes, I know you on your intimate waxing level, but these guys don't know you. So who is Emma? Like, obviously I know you're a mum, and we relate a lot on stuff like that, chatting about mum life and having teens. And when I, obviously going back a few years, like you said, it's been what, three years, maybe 4 years or whatever, that we've been seeing each other. When I first saw you, I think within that first year, I saw a lot of things changing in your life. And at that time, we, you know, as you do when you get your legs akimbo, we're chatting about everything, putting the worlds to right. And me and you did speak about a lot of topics, and we got on really well when we spoke about the kids and family life. But you were going through a lot of change at that point, and I could see that let's just say you'd lost your spark a teeny bit. And I could see that was missing. But there's been a lot of change in you recently, and I feel like your spark has definitely come back. Yeah. So do you want to tell us all about that?
Well, thanks. It's good to
know it's come back.
Yeah. Well, there has been a lot of change, but yeah, I'm Emma, obviously. I've got 4 children. My youngest is 7, and then I've got a 13-year-old. My daughter just turned 15, and then my eldest son is about to be 19. So
she does not look old enough to have a nearly 19-year-old.
Well, the surreal thing is that I was 19 when I had him, so I feel like him turning 19.
This is something we have in common.
Is a bit of a. It's surreal to think that he's that age. It's a wake-up call
of how young we actually. So there is a video of me and my daughter doing a little mum-daughter one, and very similar to you. I had Layla when I was 20, my eldest, and she's now approaching 18. And I look and think, there is no way that if she was to fall pregnant next year, which would have been me having her, that she would be ready. Not because I don't think she's mature enough. I just look at her and still think of her as she's just a young girl. She's a baby still. She's got so much ahead of her. But for some reason, I don't know, at that time, I don't know if you felt like that, but when I had when I had Layla, I actually felt quite grown when I had her. Now when I look back, I know I wasn't. But at the time I felt quite mature, and I felt like quite headstrong with the scenario of being a mum so young. I don't know if you felt like that.
Same. No, definitely. I was a nursery nurse when I fell pregnant and had my son. So I really felt like I was prepared and I knew what I was doing once he came along, and I felt like I smashed parenting for the first, few years. And I mean, that changed along the way, obviously.
You're a brilliant mum, though, Emma.
Thank
I know
you.
I've met your daughter. Like, you bring your daughter to me to have her waxing.
Yeah.
And you're a brilliant mum. Like, you're you to me come like very calm. I'm sure it's different behind closed doors because I am a scatty mother at home. I know I go from 0 to 100. My kids are like, oh, God's sake, mum. But to me, I've seen you with your daughter. You're very calm, very collected with her. You let her make decisions. You're very like you're educating her on things, but I can see you're giving her the space and room to make the choices herself and learn for herself as well. So I from afar, as someone who knows you as well as I do, I think you're a brilliant mum. So you give yourself the credit that you deserve.
You.
It's hard having kids young and being thrown in the deep end. You're still learning about yourself at that age.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that probably is what has happened over the time. And obviously growing up, but having more children, I think I coped very well having my eldest, and then the more I had, obviously, the harder it becomes.
Juggle more things.
And I am very calm and very patient, but of course, and people will say that to me all the time, like, "Oh, Emma, you mustn't shout, or you seem so calm all the time." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm winging it." And of course, I shout, and I'm not perfect.
Human, everyone has their
but
moments.
I think I found. The more children I had, definitely like different troubles and stuff like that. But at the time, as a 19-year-old, maybe naivety. I was very much like, yeah, I've got this. I'm fine. I can do this.
Even down to labour. My mum went to me, it's going to hurt, right? And I was like, oh, yeah. Obviously, humans coming out. But I didn't realise how much.
Yeah.
Until that moment I was actually in labour. I kept saying to my mum, oh my God, I think I'm going into labour. She was like,
little Braxton Hicks.
She was like, I think they're Braxton Hicks.
Yeah.
I was like, but how do you know? Because I've got pains. She was like, Bex, trust me, you're going to know that you're in labour when you're in labour. And I thought, God, it can't be that bad. She's so dramatic.
Yeah.
I knew.
And then it kicked in.
I knew. Yeah, it kicked in. I was like, okay, this is the shit my mum was
but
talking about.
I found that really empowering with every child I had. I found the whole giving birth process very empowering. I think it taught me a lot about myself, the strength that
the inner strength you
had.
have.
Yeah, definitely. I think, I would go as far as saying I actually enjoy the experience. I find it really liberating.
She's wild.
Yeah.
I'd say I enjoyed it, but I wouldn't say I want to do it every weekend.
Not every weekend. No.
I know what you're saying though. It's definitely it is actually a really empowering thing. And it is something to be really grateful and blessed for, because there's a lot of women out there that, don't have that opportunity and would give anything to have a little one and have that experience. And, my heart goes out to them massively. But, being a mother is more than just carrying them and giving birth to them. Being a mother, there's a whole journey for being a mum. There's so, like you say, ups and downs. There's so many things. It's not all a high. There's a lot of things you have to learn about yourself. And I think that would be the factor with any woman, not just someone who's had a child young.
Yeah,
I think that's a learning curve. As an individual, as a human, forget what age you have your children, if you have children or not. You're forever adapting and growing and learning.
Definitely.
Like there was a trend going around. Actually, I did a little post on it when I got back from holiday the other week. About how sometimes you're so wrapped up in being a perfect mum and making sure that they're having these amazing first-time memories that you forget that you're just a woman in her 30s living it for the first time as well.
Yeah.
And I think that trend's so spot on, because how true is that? That these experiences that I'm doing in my life with my kids or without my kids are my first time as well.
Yeah.
Just because I'm in my 30s. Just because I've got 3 kids doesn't mean that I've lived everything and I'm wise. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. If I compare myself to my 20s to now, oh my gosh, I'm a completely different person.
Definitely,
in so many ways.
Definitely. And I think, we were talking about some of the changes that I've gone through, and I think that's been really apparent to me over the last few years. I think when I had the children in the beginning, I was very much like, nope, I'm a mum. I didn't really go out much, didn't really do a lot. It was very family focused. It was all about the children. Yeah. And I think over the last few years, I've really tried to pour into myself more, because Yeah, I am. You know, I'm in my 30s.
Still a woman.
I'm
Still Emma.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I am Emma. What do I want out of life? What do I enjoy? What do I want to learn? Like, there's all of that kind of stuff that has become more clearer, and I think that is probably contributing to my spark coming back, because
I love that.
I'm doing things for myself now.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's important to say as well is where. Well, to go back a bit, so it makes more sense. I separated from my husband. We was together from when I was 17, up until about 35, I want to say. So
long
really long
time.
time.
Long time.
But around the same time, my sister passed away as well. So that was that was quite a lot mentally to go through. And kind of the product of that in the end I had to obviously reevaluate everything and decide what kind of what and what to do next, and because I homeschooled the children as well. At that point, I think I'd been home educating them for about 5 years. I was running a business at the time.
A lot to juggle.
I was doing a lot of things. So at that point, and probably just after I met you, it was a decision of, right, okay, I'm going to give up the business. The children are going to go to school. So I feel like my whole identity
had changed.
Yeah, I'd lost completely. Like, who even am I now?
I'm not. Plan, everything had changed. Yeah.
Everything that made me who I felt I was. You know, a home educator, business owner. I was in a relationship. All of that had kind of fallen away, and I was very lost for a minute. But then I thought, right, okay, one step, one foot in front of the other, and from there, I've kind of put changes in place. But what I was going to say, I think is important, just like the growth, and we are different people, you know, throughout our parenting journey, because we are women experiencing life. I think we can feel really bad when we're not feeling our best selves either, because then we're thinking we're not even giving our children the best of what they deserve either, or maybe what they used to get. And I think we can be really hard on ourselves for not being the best that we can be, but actually, like, we are human.
I get guilt all the time just going to work.
Yeah.
I got guilt being here today.
Yeah.
It's 6 weeks holiday.
Yeah.
They're off school. They're doing things, like, don't get me wrong, they're with friends or they're chilling. I'm sure they're doing the bits that they still enjoy.
Yeah.
But as a mum, you feel nothing but overwhelming guilt that you should be doing more.
Yeah.
Like, I should be here. I should be there. Maybe I should be taking them to their fun places, having their friends over, entertaining. Like, there's so much that goes through your head as a mother that you beat yourself up about, but actually the reality is you've got a roof over their head, they've got food on the table and in the cupboards, they're very blessed, they're very lucky, we're all healthy, we're well, they're well looked after, they're well loved. And actually the reality of the real world is that it's not always let's go to the theme park and let's go to the park every day, because that's not the real world. If anything, I'm trying to show them that you have to work hard, and you shouldn't feel guilty about that. If anything, it's a life skill and lesson for them for the future as well. But it's very hard to juggle all the plates. And just like yourself, you've got 4 children of all different ages that need and want different things because they're at different ages and stages of their life. Like, for me, I've got 3 that are spaced out. So my eldest being nearly 18 and then my youngest being 10. You can imagine a 10-year-old and an 18-year-old have very different needs and wants. So I have to split myself so many ways, and it can be hard, and it can be, sometimes I punish myself so much and I think, actually, I am doing a good job, and I just pat myself in the back, and I'm not going to get it perfect, and that's okay. Yeah. That is okay. Like, my kids don't expect perfect. They just want their mum. They do, exactly. Yeah. And that's where we can lose ourselves as well, because then we are really just focusing on all that guilt that we're feeling and trying to pour into everybody else. But then we are forgetting ourselves. Yeah. So I think that's definitely been the biggest lesson for myself through this, is that, well, actually, I'm important too. So you are, Emma. You're really important. The kids are looked after, and you're a good mum. You're a good friend. You're a good partner. There's a lot of things about yourself that are good, and you should definitely praise yourself for that. Like, I've seen, and I follow you on social media, and I see you're in the gym and you're working hard, and the gym is great. Like, talking a little bit about mental health here, like, because of them changes and losing your sister and everything else and trying to find yourself again after your split. And all the change, like you said, for your children, going from homeschooling, for then getting them into school, they're all big changes. They're not little changes. And there's a lot of grief in there as well. Like even grieving your relationship.
Definitely.
You know, like it's still a form of grief that you've got to go through. And the gym is hopefully somewhere that you seem to get that good feel, like good vibes, and it just lets you get rid of that stress that you've got on top of you. Because I know when I went to the gym is the key point here. I haven't been to the gym for a while. I've been a busy girl. I've been eating cake.
That's same. I do both. It's balance.
Yeah, it's balance. It's balance in our life. But the gym did help me on a mental thing. And I know, like, when you talk about losing yourself, like, a little bit more wear my heart on my sleeve here. I know Becky's always bubbly and laughing and we've always got banter train going. But actually, the reality is I've suffered quite bad. I want to say mental health. I've got, anxiety. I have a lot of anxiety. I have health anxiety, really extreme health anxiety. And anyone that's close to me knows that I get quite het up about that, which we'll touch base a bit in a minute. And I have struggled a lot through times where I have felt like probably I would say borderline depressed. Not to the point where I've ever thought that it's such a deep dark hole I can't get out of, but I've been in places where I thought, okay, I can't see the light. I'm very, very like negative. The glass is always half empty. And that's not like me. So I knew something wasn't right. So like COVID days was that horrible time, but feels like many moons ago. For some people, it feels like yesterday. But it was a really tough time for me, like not being able to work, being told I couldn't work, earn money, support my family. My husband at the time was really ill. He ended up with pleurisy on his lung. So I was juggling a lot on my own, having 3 kids that had different needs and wants, feeling like they'd been shut away. Homeschooling for me, I take my hat off to you because through COVID days, I could not do it.
It's not the same. Proper home education is not the same as COVID homeschooling.
Yeah,
I promise you.
I was going to say, because if there was any comparison in that, I definitely weren't built for it.
It put a lot of people off, but
And it was tough. And I am somebody, if anyone that knows me well knows I'm a touchy person. I like hugging people. I like contact. I love chatting to people. My job, I guess, as well plays a big factor in that. Like over the years, seeing so many different people like yourself and many others and having that interaction every day and losing that. And as much as I love my family, I'm not used to being shut away in one place. I felt myself and my whole personality slip away. My spark went, and I know how hard it is to work on getting your spark back. Because you might start to feel good, but it's so easy to slip back into old habits, and it is hard to always get that feel-good motivation sometimes. And I think the gym, when I came back out of it, I was very motivated that we was going to go to the gym again. I was going to get back to the gym. And the gym did help me, like, massively. It did make me, like, it was just somewhere to let out some steam and just be like, okay. And when I came out of the gym, I always remember feeling like, I've got lots of energy today. Like, I feel like I could do a lot. I used to get my tasks done. And since I actually have got off the bandwagon a little bit with the gym, I've noticed that my motivation isn't there as much. And the thing is, the steps are there. I know in the back of my head I'm saying, get back in the gym. So it's obviously something my body needs because I wouldn't be telling myself that. Have you felt that it's helped you a lot?
Yeah, definitely. I think I had to start small. Like I always say, never underestimate the power of the little things. So it's not that I just woke up one day and was like, right, gym, get into it. Actually, it's been a long process of in and out. And so I did start off very small, and it was things like podcasts and audiobooks and songs and things like that was making me feel better. Then it was get out and go for a walk. So I was giving myself little things. Then when I was ready to go to the gym, I was like, okay, let's start doing it. But I still wasn't being consistent with it. And I work in mental health. I work with mums in their perinatal stage, so children under 3, to help them with low mood, depression, anxiety. And one of the mums said to me that she'd been told something about sticking to the plan, not the mood. And I absolutely loved that in the moment because I thought I definitely stick to the mood. If I can't be bothered, I'm not going to do it. So I dedicated to sticking to the plan, not the mood, and counted my days, like Candice Brathwaite. She counts her days for her workouts. And that has helped me be accountable. So, because I don't want to reset back to day one.
Day one again. No one wants to do
I'm
that.
on day 100 I don't know, 200 and something. But
I think we're all guilty of that, sticking with the mood a little bit.
definitely.
I think it's human nature to just be led by your mood.
Yeah.
Like this morning, it was very stressful.
Yeah.
I was close to turning around and being like, today is not filming day.
Just forget
because I was so stressed out.
Yeah. Yeah.
But actually, if I'd been led by my mood, I wouldn't be sitting here now with you, and I feel
Exactly.
absolutely fine. Sometimes you do have to push through it.
You have to. And for me, so going to the gym, yes, most of the time I'm dragging myself there. I don't want to go. I can't be bothered. I'm tired. I go in the evening when my youngest is in bed. I'm an early bird, so by 8:30, I just want to go to bed.
Yeah.
But it's pushing me to stick and be committed to myself. And when I come out, I feel amazing, like what you're saying, all the energy, and I feel proud of myself as well.
Definitely.
But I think what it's doing for me is the discipline of showing up for myself and showing that I can actually do it. And it's what I'm achieving in the process. And what I'm realizing is, you know, there's a saying, how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if I'm not committing to just going to the gym,
I'm not committing to other things.
there's so many other things that I'm being half-assed with. I'm not showing
Yeah.
that commitment. So, you know, and I am trying to use it in other areas of my life now. I hate laundry. Now I'm like, well, Emma, you know, the plan is get that laundry put away.
Oh, I can wash till the cows come home. Putting it
100
away.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Putting it away. It will
Yeah,
sit on my
piles
bed,
for days.
on the side, on the floor, on the dining.
Yeah.
We haven't eaten on our at our dining table for ages because there's just like clothes everywhere, and everyone goes, I can't find this. I can't find. Have you looked through the pile? Have you looked through the pile?
Yeah.
Because I cannot be bothered to hang it up, and I don't know why. Because once I start getting the swing of hanging it up,
because it's boring.
it feels really good to get it put away, and I'm like, it's actually not as bad as I think.
It's boring, and we're doing it all the time. There's so many children, so many clothes. It's annoying.
Chore, isn't it?
Yeah, but I am trying to apply the same kind of thoughts to everything.
It's a good thing, and I think actually that might be something that might help someone that's listening and thinking actually, and you can apply that to everything. Literally. So forget the gym. Like the gym is something that both me and you have found has been something that's definitely helped us with our mental health. But that could be like, you want to get creative, you want to start painting and drawing, it could be photography, it could be that you might start a business. Like, believe it or not, businesses are as stressful as they are, but they are also nice ways for people to find creativity and find ways to sort of like apply their energy like to something and give it to something that hopefully gives them something back in return.
Even reading, even doing like a little course or there's so many things. Going out for a walk, like, okay, I'm going to commit to walking every day.
I've got another client that has done massage courses, has done nail courses. She has no interest in working in the beauty industry, but she likes learning. She just likes to say she's done it. She's done floristry, she's done everything, and her job has got nothing to do with any of them things. And she said when she thinks about how much money she's probably spent on courses, but she finds it something about it really therapeutic of just being able to say, I know how to do that. I know how to do that. Okay, she might not be the most skilled in it because she hasn't gone off and got experience in it, but she says, I've got the background knowledge and the steps to apply it where I need to in my everyday life. That's great. If that's how she finds her way of like feeling good about herself and just, you know, putting her energy somewhere, it's better to do that than put your energy in something negative in your life.
Well, definitely. And things like that, I've been doing lots of little experiences. And when you said floristry, I went to a bouquet workshop. So just because I love flowers, but I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just chucking them into the vase and hoping for the best. So I was like, oh, let me do just a little workshop. So I did it with my daughter. Things like that, or booking little solo trips to the theatre or things like that. It makes me feel like I'm alive, like I'm living. I'm not just going through the motions of every day living. Do you know what I mean?
You're not just getting up, going to work, going home, doing the washing and stuck in that sort of cycle.
That cycle,
You're actually doing stuff to break it up
it's
and
things to look
find
forward
interests
to.
and hobbies and in that process of doing them things, you're learning a little bit about yourself, which is so nice. And at the end of the day, anxiety is, even if you're someone that doesn't consider yourself as someone that is anxious or suffers with anxiety is in everyone's life. You could be anxious just trying to get to work or trying to get somewhere, and it's being able to control them anxiety attacks, how they come in your life, with something that you can replace it that helps you. Like it's just de-stressing. And talking and touching base on the anxiety, which I said earlier about that I suffer with health anxiety, something that me and Emma have in common, a little bit different, but in common, is that we both went through a little bit of surgery. yours was a little bit before mine. I think it was about a year before, wasn't it? If I remember rightly.
Yeah, maybe
About a year before me.
Yeah.
Last year, for anyone who does follow me and knows what I went through, I was diagnosed with skin cancer on my face. So luckily, thank God, it was not melanoma, but it was basal cell cancer, which isn't as deadly as melanoma, but it's also still a cancer, and it is still something that when you have health anxiety, straight out of the roof, like crazy. I was not in a good place. And actually, Emma helped me through that, because I spoke to you a lot about it when you was in for your waxing, and we were chatting about it. And at the time, I didn't even know if I had the skin cancer. I was very much like, I found this lump on my face. And you actually had surgery yourself on your face. So I don't know if the camera's going to be able to pick it up, but Emma unfortunately had quite a big scar.
Yeah,
It's a Harry Potter scar.
Yeah,
It's her lightning bolt across her.
Right there.
So Emma's got quite a big scar that goes across here. You had a lump, didn't you?
Yeah, just a random
lesion.
Yeah, I thought it was a spot at first, and it didn't go away. It started off as a little lump, like a little raised lump. Then it looked like an insect bite, with the little scab, tiny little scab in the middle of it. And
something that just won't heal, aggravate you.
Yeah, because obviously then you're washing your face, and then it would bleed a tiny bit again, and then it would scab over.
And was yours itchy?
No, I don't think so. No, it was.
So it wasn't itching you and bothering you?
No, it was just there. And obviously, every time you look in the mirror, like you could see it. So I was just aware. You've been there for a little while now. But it did take me a little while to actually get to the doctors, because it was around the same time as everything else going on in my life. So I was aware of it, but I didn't prioritize it immediately. I probably even made a joke, like, by the way, I think
I feel like Emma now would prioritise it.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I made a joke. So, by the way, I think I might have skin cancer on my head, just in case anything happens to me. Like so,
but humans we all do.
I'll get to the doctors later.
Yeah. Like, sometimes a little bit of sick sense of humour comes out when you're trying to deal with stuff, and it's just our way of like maybe protecting ourselves from what our thoughts are probably telling us.
Yeah.
But the fact that you recognised it and you did eventually get to the doctors is a good thing.
I did.
Yeah.
But I went to the doctors. They sent me for imaging first, so they take pictures with the special lens and everything, and then they said that they thought that it was BCC, same as you, but they didn't do a biopsy or anything. They just literally sent me straight for surgery, which was a little bit. It was a bit upsetting. I think I found it really upsetting because I wasn't expecting it. I thought they'd just kind of take the lump out.
A little tiny lump.
Yeah, I think I was still expecting like a biopsy type procedure. So when she drew on my head, I was like, it's half the size of my head.
You don't notice it, and I know you see it, but like I think you're lucky in a way because it is so high up into near your hairline.
Yeah,
that you can wear your hair to the side and cover it.
The surgeon was amazing. She did say to me, how do you wear your hair? So I was like, right, like this, and she said she should have done it this way, but she was going to try and get it into my frown lines. And she did do a good job. It's just that you can see the stitches, like the scars of the stitches. And Which
I've actually got on my leg because I've got lots of scars very similar. So they do unfortunately
they
sometimes
heal differently.
Feel like that.
I think I just felt very vulnerable at the time because I'd just gone through the split, and there was so many things in my head already, and now I've got this big scar. And
it's something you can't get rid of it. It's there. So you've got to somehow try and process this is a new part of your image and your look while you're trying to basically redesign yourself in a way because you're going through trauma yourself in your life. So it's a lot to take on.
It was too much at like one time, I think. But thank God it came back and it wasn't BC. Even when she was operating, she said to me, I think it is.
She was still
BC.
convinced.
Yeah, she was still saying, I really think it is. And I'd looked at pictures and convinced myself that that's what it was, but it came back as a certain type of mole, and it was fine. And this year, another little one came up on my nose. I thought, oh, here we go again. And that scared me because I was thinking, oh, am I going to have another?
To the scar on your
it's
forehead,
my nose now. What do I do? I'm going to be, looking crazy. But I had the pictures taken again and they've come back and they said no, they don't think.
And they're happy to leave it.
I've got a dermatology appointment in January, so a good 6 months away.
But
that gives me hope, that it is.
I mean, if put it this way, if they were probably thinking, possibly is it something they would get you in within
They've
2
said
weeks.
what they think it is, and it's nothing to worry about. So
that's hopefully
fine.
a good sign.
Yeah, but it makes you, know,
it does. Yeah.
Obviously, I am very fair, and in my younger years, I definitely burnt a lot. So my head definitely just went, well, of course, my forehead, my nose, burnt a lot.
It's your
Like
face.
maybe it is. Yeah.
I mean, my daughter has a scar that goes all the way down her nose.
Yeah.
So my middle one, she had probably, I want to say it probably at the age 3, 4, started getting what looked like a little red. It just looked like a tiny little red, like
Pimple?
a spot, like a pimple on the end of her nose, like something that you could squeeze.
Mm.
And I thought she was just getting like a little blocked pore. So I thought, oh, it's just a little blocked pore. We'll get rid of it. Be absolutely fine. Didn't really take much notice of it, but it kept growing, and it kept growing.
Mm.
And I think she was about, I want to say maybe 7, 8 years old. And I took her to a dermatologist and said, look, I don't know what this is that's growing on her face, but because it's growing and it's growing quite rapidly and now it's got really big, it literally covered the tip of her nose. It was bright red. And then it was when I think they had at one point, they had called 15 different dermatologists from all over, and they met at one hospital and all went in the room one by one and examined her face. Because of her age, it was such a... It was quite a bit. It was a situation where they thought, do they put her underneath surgery if it's not needed?
Yeah.
But also at the same time, if they do it, they've got to look at a little girl that's very small that is still growing, and there's going to be a scar on the end of her nose. Out of the 15 dermatologists, a majority of them, I can't remember the exact number, but a majority of them were very much like, I think it's benign. Mm-hmm. But there was a couple that were like, because we don't know, I think it's better to do a biopsy and get rid of it because it is growing at such a rate. Anyway, it happened to be a very rare mole. It's a very long name, so I can't give you the name because I'm not medically trained in that. But she did have surgery, and she ended up having plastic surgery, and she had to have her nose kind of like reconstructed a little bit because, like what you said, it isn't just a teeny piece they take out.
Yeah.
They actually have to go out by so much on the margins of around the diameter of the mole or the lump, and then they have to come out and then stitch back in. So it's almost like the shape of an oval of an eye, not a circle. So they go out and then they stitch it back in. The problem is when it's on the tip of the nose, you haven't got much skin and movement there. So they've had to like reconstruct her nose. So actually she had more of a button nose, and now her nose is quite slim, but she has a red scar that goes all the way down here across the tip of her nose. I don't physically see it anymore, and I don't think she does. And for me, the factor was even if it was benign and it wasn't dangerous, the issue for me is as she got older, and being a girl, I didn't want her to get to a point where it got so big that the surgery was too big for them to have to then completely do a whole thing on her. So I was like, I'd rather it when she was younger, get rid of it while it's the size that it is, and hopefully the scar won't be as bad. And also then we're not taking the risk of any chances in case that does end up becoming something that is more dangerous. So I was happy with that, but I do know what you mean. And even now, sometimes when I look and she mentions it, and then you like refocus and you like look at it for the first time, you think, oh, actually, yeah, there is a scar there. But what she is lucky with is that makeup is so good nowadays, and you can, like, same with you, you'll be able to cover your scar, and scars over time, they become more silvery and they get old, and then they don't look as prominent as some others. So but I just always think I'd rather have a scar than have something more serious to deal with, and that's the approach that I took. I mean, you'll see I have a scar here, a scar on the back of my arm here. I have one on the bottom of my back, one on my tummy, and I also have a big one on my leg here on my thigh, which you were talking about dots. You can see the dots there on the top of my leg. And they were all from moles that my dermatologist wasn't happy with. And you can see I'm very, very moly. And this episode today is not meant to be about cancer and skin. I'm not a dermatologist. I'm not anything like that. But it was something that we both had gone through. And I thought it would be nice to highlight it for anybody that is worried about anything on their skin. Do go and get it checked, because about a year after Emma had hers, I had a lesion, like what looked like, to be completely honest, it looked like a little water blister above my eyebrow. Now, as someone who waxes her eyebrows, I constantly was aware of it, and I could feel it itching, and I felt like it was growing. I did squeeze it a few times, actually believing it was a spot under my skin that wasn't going. And then the beauty of me doing content is that I actually was able to scroll right back by however many years to see if it was on my face when I did videos like a year ago, 2 years ago. And I could see it was very, very small, and I had noticed it maybe doubled, tripled in size above my eyebrow. So I knew it was getting bigger. So I had that as proof. And they always say, any dermatologist says you should take photos regularly of your body and stuff, and then you can monitor anything changes on your skin. What I did notice about my face was that it started to weep and it actually started to bleed randomly. And I knew that wasn't good signs.
Yeah.
So then I decided to call my dermatologist and ask for an appointment. And the crazy thing is, and this is not me coming at any doctor because I know that they're really overworked and I know they have a lot to deal with. They didn't actually want to have a look at it on the day because they said that I was only down for checks for my other moles and that was a whole new case and I had to book a different appointment. And I just said, look, it's going to take you 30 seconds to just look up at my face. I'm here anyway. I'd rather you didn't look at a mole that I'm not concerned about and actually look at this on my face. And she was like, well, I should. And I ended up looking at her saying, I think it's cancer and I think you need to check it because if I go, it's going to take me months before I get another appointment. So she went, okay, I'll look at it. And then when she looked at it, within seconds, she said, this is basal cell cancer. And when I think about it, going back, it did feel like a wave of when you've got health anxiety that hit me hard. And even though out of the two, I would rather it was basal cell over melanoma, they still couldn't tell me for a fact that it wasn't melanoma until I'd had biopsy or had a surgery. So then there was this overwhelming rush of, I've got to get it off my face, I've got to get it off my face. And I didn't want to leave it any longer. But to be fair to the NHS, within the moment I had that appointment and they had checked my face, probably within the space of 4 weeks, I'd had more photos done and a pre-op and then went in for surgery. So it was very quick.
Yeah.
And the day that I had it cut out, I'm not going to lie, I was very, very emotional. I already knew without having to see any results, I knew. You just have a gut and I knew something wasn't right. And I was very lucky because we do talk about this. Emma's got quite a big scar. We had it at different hospitals, obviously different surgeons. And the hospital I went to was Broomfield. Broomfield Hospital is known for plastics, burns and plastics. That's their speciality. So they probably have quite good plastic surgeons there that were able to work on the area. The surgeon who done my brow has literally managed to save my brow because I was originally told at pre-op that they were going to cut half of my brow away to get to the area they needed to. And it was likely that my face would look higher here where they've had to pull skin. As a woman, you do kind of think, oh my God, whatever. But I think I'd got to a point because of my health anxiety, I was just like, get it off my face. I couldn't care less. So I just went with it with the idea that I was going to probably look, brows, you can tattoo them back on. I was, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And when I went in there, the surgeon that I actually had was different to the guy that I'd actually spoken to at my pre-op, who was originally the person I think that was meant to do it. So when he came in, he was like, let me just have a look at your face again. And we was having a discussion. I was getting into my scrubs and stuff. Not my scrubs and in my overalls, whatever I had to go in. I wasn't the one doing the surgery. Basically, he looked and said, I think I can save your brow and I can make this really neat. And he did. And I take my hat to him. He done an amazing job. Yeah. So my scar starts at the bottom of my eyebrow. And he actually, where my brow is tattooed, he'd placed my brow back together and then took the actual cancer out and managed to actually sew it all back together very neatly, and it has healed so good across my face. I barely even notice it.
You wouldn't even know it was there.
Wouldn't even notice it at all. And when I went back to get my results, so I had it all in official black and white because they needed to know if they'd got it all out, it was basal cell cancer. And after being told what I've been told, that basal cell is apparently, according to what my dermatologist has told me, you can only get it through UV light damage. Okay. So if I can give anyone advice, look, I know there's a debate. Is sun cream good for you? Is it not good for you? I'm now in my late 30s and I'm using SPF every day on my face. I have factor 50 on my face today. But when I was younger, never put it on my face. Never. And, it was a really horrible thing to go through. Thank God there was no melanoma in what they found, which could have been a different story. But I am covered in moles. I wear sun cream all the time now. And I'm very careful. And more back in the day, I don't know about you, but I was baby oil, factor 2, sitting in the sun. The more tanned I was, the better. But I think that is trends back then. Obviously, I'm born in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s. It was very much like deep, dark tan. Yeah. Now I don't think people are everyone's a little bit more aware in there.
I think people are more aware, but I do still think the tanning culture is there. I still think people are trying to, but I think maybe they're using more, self-tan?
Yeah, like the fake tan now.
The fake tan is the one. But I just think with our age, we know, like I've always burnt very easily. So I know if I
Fair-skinned.
don't wear sun cream, then I'm going to burn. So I have to carry it around with me. I do try and get as natural of a sun cream as possible because I do think they come with a lot of chemicals, but that's just me. I like to use products that are a bit more toxic free.
And there is some really good sun creams out there. They are a little bit more pricier, they're good ones.
They are, yeah.
But it's definitely worth it because like me and Emma, we're both sitting around with scars on our face. And for Emma, it was great news. And for me, in the end, it was good news. They got rid of it. It's gone. I don't have to think about it. However, I do need to be careful because someone who has had basal cell, I have been told that it is a very high chance it will come back again.
Yeah.
So I now have to watch my skin fully from head to toe. Not only with my moles, because I am covered, which actually we've got a little picture that we want to share with you guys. Thank you, Abby. So it's called the ABCDE method. Now, I'm not a doctor. I'm not here to do any work that a doctor could do better for you, but I am here just to make, while we're on the topic, I just thought it would be really good for me and Emma just to give a bit of awareness that yes, melanoma is looking for certain few things in your mole. So your moles in general, any mole that's on your body, you're going to look for which is right. Okay, so basically the edges of your mole, so your asymmetry of the mole. Like so they're saying if one side looks like it's coming out more than the other. So we'll get a clearer picture so you can see. So if the edges start to spread out, that's not necessarily a good sign. Now, that doesn't mean that you have got it, but get it checked. So it should be kind of even all the way around the mole. Your next one that you want to look for is the border as well, just to make sure that the border is staying in line with the asymmetry of the actual mole, so it's all in line with each other. And then you've also got the colour. So as you'll see, each mole will have its own sort of shade and colour into it. But what you're looking for is not one that looks a bit darker than the others, but one that's maybe got 2 times different colours in it. But anything that stands out on your skin or is changing, get it checked. The last one is the diameter. So a mole, if it starts to change in size, like how I knew with that lesion on my face that it was growing, like yours had changed, anything like that, you get it checked. And the last one is it evolving? Is there change in it? Is there things that are happening, like the edges are spiking out, colour change? Is it scabbing over? Is it itching? Anything like that, get it checked. Look, I'm not a doctor. I'm sure there's better ways to deliver this to you. But that image, get that stuck in your head, check your body, take photos, because if there is a chance that you pick up on anything, look, what's the worst? You're going to go there and they say you're fine.
Yeah, I was going to say,
it's not embarrassing to be embarrassed about.
Mine did scab, mine did bleed, mine did change and grow,
it was nothing.
and it wasn't. So, I think you can be so scared that you don't take yourself to be checked, but then actually you're fine.
It could be nothing, but it's better to be safe than sorry, as they say. And I would rather know than not know, and then forget my health anxiety. I'd rather know. But this is definitely the method that you're looking for with your moles. Now, this is to obviously look out and be aware of any suspect moles that could turn into melanoma. Melanoma is a more deadly skin cancer. Basal cell is very different. You're not necessarily looking at moles. You might be, thank you, Abby, you might be looking for just a blister or a scab or a little black dot on your skin. It could be anything. Mine looked like a water blister, like as if like my shoe had rubbed. It was absolutely nothing. It was the smallest pinprick, and it wasn't even that big. But my scar is like this on my face. Even though it's neat for something so small, it was actually something that was cancerous and needed to come off. So anything. It could be, I know a guy that had basal cell that was on the top of his head. He obviously has no hair, so his head's exposed more to the sun, and he had a scab that wouldn't heal on the top of his head, and it ended up being basal cell. His looked completely the opposite and different to mine. So it just goes to show, anything on your body, if it's changing and you're unaware of it and you don't know what to do, just go and get it checked. Go and see a dermatologist. It's not worth the heartache of getting bad news because you just didn't go. Like, go, because it might be okay, like Emma's story, which hopefully it is. And as a waxer, as someone who sees a lot of people that are undressed, I notice things on people's bodies. I'm not a doctor. I would definitely not give them advice on anything on their health like that. But if I notice something that I thought wasn't right, I would probably say to my client, listen, go and have a little check, because that doesn't seem right. It's a bit big, or it's that's changed since I last saw you. And I have done that for some of my clients, and a few of my clients have gone off and had appointments with a dermatologist because of it. So don't be afraid to pick up the phone and go for that appointment.
Yeah, definitely.
But thank you for sharing that. We're going to finish it off a little bit with a quick game of some beauty trends, because I thought, look, we're beauty based. Let's get off that subject. That's quite morbid. But I'm glad we got to share that, and hopefully someone's learnt from it. But let's end on something a bit upbeat and a bit beauty. Let's hear what Emma thinks as a mum. Both mums, both women, both have gone through our own fads over the years of what's been in fashion. But Abby's going to shout out a few things to us, and we're going to see what our views are on it. Let's see how alike we are.
Let's see.
Go on, Abby. What's the first one?
You've got a 2-week holiday coming up.
Yeah.
Let's say in a month's time. When people prep their skin on weekly sunbeds to prep for this holiday, what are your thoughts?
I think we're going to have the same answer on this.
I don't know if we will. Go on.
Okay. So mine is a no-go.
Yeah.
I don't judge people for doing it. There's a lot of my clients that come in at like, oh, I'm prepping sunbeds, I got my holiday. I don't, just purely because of how many moles I have. Because of the amount of scars I've got, I'm just not prepared to do it. A little interesting fact, well, it's not interesting. No one actually cares. Little fact for you though, if you do care, I have never had a sunbed. Mm-hmm. In my 37 years of life, I've never ever had a sunbed. Not because I'm like majorly anti-sunbeds. Like, you know, I've got clients that got psoriasis who actually have medical sunbed sessions to help with their psoriasis on their skin. So there's lots of reasons why someone would do it. But because of my skin and because of what I've gone through, and especially with the basal cell now on my face, I just wouldn't. I'm just not that bothered about a tan anymore. Yeah. And literally, I don't care. I just go there to have fun. But
so
I feel like you've got a different view on this.
I have. Well, and as well, you know, I'm still thinking and figuring stuff out. But I have used sunbeds. And last year is probably when I was doing it to prepare for a holiday, but not in a, I need a tan, like quick get, the best tan I can. It wasn't that. It's because I burn so easy. So I was giving myself a base tan. And I think, like what you said, psoriasis and other things are treated with sunbed. So I think, of course, there is, you have to use them safely. And I think there's lots of different things out there that you need to research yourself. But for me, definitely last year I was like, no, and it did help me. I wasn't burning as easily because I had that little bit of a base. But that's not get on the sunbed every other day for 15 minutes.
You're not frazzling yourself. Everything in moderation.
That was, 5 minutes once a week just to build up a thing. Now, now I'm hesitant. I'm a bit more scared because I don't know how I feel about it anymore. I'm a bit conflicted with the research I have done and knowing that there are benefits to my skin changing and worrying about that. So I guess I'm still in between. I come from both sides.
You're on the fence. Emma's on the fence.
I'm on the fence.
I'm a no-go. But there's no judgment. I always find it really hard when I see people being like, you shouldn't use a sunbed, bang, 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 bang. Yeah. I'm like, there is so many bad things in our lives.
Really?
Like, it's very hard. Like, it's like if you ate a plate of broccoli every day, all day, like literally nothing but broccoli, I'm sure that wouldn't be good for you either.
Well, you eat carrots, you turn orange, right? If you eat too many carrots.
I
do think, if you, I
think everything in moderation, balanced life.
This is the thing. You can't go crazy and start sitting on the sunbed all day, every day. They do use it for health treatments.
Just don't look like a leather boot.
No, that's don't what do that. No. Exactly.
That's my Jerry Springer moment.
That's the summary.
Don't look like a leather boot. Next one.
Okay, so vaginal treatments. So what are your thoughts on, I'm going to give you 2 different ones. So when people go under the knife, so cosmetic vaginal cosmetic.
Having a cut up down there.
But then also the tightening treatment. So one, you've got the cosmetic going under the knife, and then the other one is that are tightening. Because I feel like there's benefits to both of them, depending on why someone would get it.
I think if it's yours, do what you want to do to it. But I just think make sure you've researched and you're going to the best person. I think it's the reasons behind why you're doing it.
I agree with that.
I think don't just go and
look. I'm always going to say, as a waxer who sees a lot of women down there, they shouldn't feel like I'm going to be that person who's going to try and big you up, because I think that every woman should be proud of the skin that they're in, and who cares? Like, it's really normal for people to have, so your labia skin, some of it will be saggier than others. You don't have to have children. Like one side can even dip a bit lower in the sag than the other side. There will be some people that will hardly have any outer labia. It will be really tight and it almost makes them have a bit more of an outie. You'll see some women that have got pigmentation on their skin, or that, as some women like to put it, they've got a fat nunny. That's how they can describe it, but I wouldn't say that. But that's people will say these things about themselves, and I just think they're so critical. And obviously, I'm going to be the person that's going to say, "Love the skin you are. You are who you are. We all have our. It's like a fingerprint. We all have our unique pattern, including the way we look down there." However, I am going to say this because I do agree with Emma. If it makes you so miserable and you are so unhappy, it's your body, it's your choice. As long as the reason you're doing it is for yourself and not because a partner has said something or because of somebody else's comments, because that's not the right reason to do something. You do it for yourself, it's your body.
Baby Botox, so preventative Botox for people in their 20s.
I'll openly say I've had Botox. Currently at the moment, you might have noticed it's wore off, right? These wrinkles are all natural. I think for me, like, look, I don't work in the aesthetic world, so I'm sure there will be people that'll be like, what are you talking about? Because they'll know this field better. As an individual who's got a child that is coming up 18, if she started having Botox, I'd say she's crazy. But the reason behind that would be because her skin is so flawless and she doesn't have any wrinkles. And I actually do believe a little bit of laughter lines are quite pretty. I know there's going to be people out there going, what are you talking about? Frozen's better. Whatever, you do you. But I even when I had Botox, I only ever really concentrated on my forehead, my frown lines and my forehead lines. I actually always left my eyes because I am a really smiley person majority of the time. As you might notice, I laugh a lot. I laugh at my own jokes. Such a saddo. And that's created these right here. And I'm fine with it. But I always look at 20-year-olds. I worry that, yes, that looks great, but also you've got to look long term if you're not going to the right person to do the job. And sometimes, like everything becomes a bit addictive. You can become almost like obsessed with something. Because I've got an addictive personality. I know what it's like. It was like when I had lip filler. I had 0.5. I have very naturally thin lips. There's probably the smallest amount still in there, but a lot of it's broken down now. A lot of people might look at me and think, yeah, you probably would look better with a bit of Botox and a little bit of a plump. And I probably would, whatever. But I also just think as long as you're happy with your face, just don't do too much too young. Like, your face will constantly change. Like, wait till you get to an age where you start to think, oh, actually, I think if it was more late 20s, early 30s, everyone has lines at different points. I think ethnicity plays a part as well. Like, if you look at a lot of, Chinese people, I've not seen many lines on their face. Genetics, good genetics. But I think try and avoid it too early. It's an expensive thing to get in a habit with as well. Like, you've got to have a bank balance that can keep you up with that. Also, like, you don't know what it's going to do as you get older. Yeah. Is it going to make you look a bit more bumpy and lumpy if it's not being done correctly, or if you've had too much? It weakens the muscles. Yeah. It weakens the muscles, yeah.
I'm a no. Like, again, if you want to do it, do it. But for me, I wouldn't. It scares me more what it is doing internally.
Internally, yeah.
Yeah. I don't like that. I wouldn't put.
I must admit, I don't know if this is true. Anyone that actually is someone works in the aesthetic field and is like, I've got the info for this, tell me in the comments if I'm right or wrong here, I don't know. But when I've had Botox, I've noticed that so I suffer with palpitations anyway, so I don't drink coffee. This girl don't eat caffeine, trust me. But I don't drink coffee because of the fact that it makes my heart, I get really bad palpitations after some things aggravate me. When I have Botox, I've noticed that my heart races after.
Really?
Yeah, I get palpitations for a little while. So obviously, quite clearly, as well as doing something to the muscle, it's doing something to me that I don't like, which was the reason why I stopped having it done for a while, because I just thought, I'm suffering with palpitations quite bad at the moment, and obviously that's not helping. So I'm just going to maybe lay it off for a little bit. And and I was getting really bad bruising under my skin. Again, those that work in that field tell me, why was my skin so bruised underneath? I had such bad bruising to the point when I rubbed in my moisturiser and stuff on my face, and I'm talking months after I'd had Botox, I had like really bad bruised sensation across my forehead. So I didn't like that, so I stopped.
This is it. It's like, it's the pros and cons, isn't it?
There's pros and cons to everything.
And I think it's what you're comfortable with. But it comes, back to everything. It's the acceptance of ourselves. It's like, if
being
we
happy
can
with your own skin.
Yeah, definitely. And we are gonna change. And I do look in the mirror sometimes and I think, oh wow,
critical, and think, oh, I could have a little bit here.
40's approaching, and no, I don't think that. I just think, oh wow, like the lines are coming. I'm starting to look my age now, but I still wouldn't go to Botox for personally.
Skin.
Good skincare, what can I say?
Get your skincare. I'd say if you're in your early 20s, get a good skincare routine and then reassess it when you're a bit older. And if it isn't worked and you're not happy, then go and see someone that's good at what they do.
Yeah, definitely.
The current TikTok trends, beauty trends.
Oh.
What?
Well, I've got to be honest. The trends, the skincare, all these beauty trends that are going on TikTok, I've got to be honest, right? Someone who's on TikTok, I love seeing things. I get a lot of helpful tips and advice on there. And I'm someone who gives advice on there as well with waxing and stuff like that. So I'm not against it. What I'm against is that there is so many crazy things that people are doing. And it's going to maybe the wrong person. So like I've got teenage girls who like watching TikTok, and especially my middle one, she went for a stage at the age of like 12, 13 of asking for like acid pills and like serums for her face. It was on her Christmas wish list. And I was like, at 12, you should not care about anything other than
your world.
Yeah, you should just be literally washing your face with a really gentle cleanser. And if they've got a bit of dry skin, add a teeny bit of light moisturiser. But do they need acid pills? In my opinion, no. In fact, actually, for anyone that has got teenage girls, or if you're someone that is young and is watching, I am telling you this now. My daughter's skin flared up worse. She was more sensitive. She had an outbreak. She purged. Yeah. All because she was using products that were too harsh for her.
It breaks down the skin barrier, and then
it was awful for her. And since she stopped, her skin has cleared. She's got perfect skin now.
Yeah.
Since not using all the products.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is your household full of skincare stuff and TikTok trends, or are they not bothered by it?
No, they're not. They're not bothered by it. I've got skincare, but not TikTok.
You're like, my cupboard's full.
My cupboard's full, and I do encourage them to obviously wash their face and moisturize and things like that. But no, we're not. They're not. They've never really been. Maybe because they were home educated as well. They've never really, they've never really been a part of a lot of the trends that have kind of come around. And even though some of them are in school now, just not that bothered.
Honestly, when I was younger, because we didn't have TikTok and stuff like that, we weren't trying out loads of stupid stuff on us. Well, we were, but the worst that it was like white eyeliner and what was it, the mascara wand stuff to dye your hair and a tooth gem.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
I definitely
Everyone
had
had the tooth gem.
Yeah, they came back recently.
I did. I started to see a few people with them, and I was like, "Is this a thing? Is this kind of?" But the '90s trend is sort of like the fashion sort of flowing back in again. But yeah, I went through all of them weird stages, but it was nothing that was too severe. That it was just being a teen. I feel like teens now don't go through an awkward stage.
No,
they're
they've
too
gone
immaculate.
straight to, all the contouring.
Do you not think that?
Yeah, they
like,
because of YouTube though, because they have all the tutorials, they have access to all the makeup
everything.
And all of that stuff, and so where we were with our dodgy,
I was going around. Well, being our generation, the fashion was to be a chav. You just walked around in tracksuits and lots of thick gold jewellery and a tooth gem, and your hair was slicked back with two greasy thins down the front. I don't know if you did that. That was a thing.
I grew up in East London, so it was a slightly different.
It's probably slightly different,
trend, but mine was more
foundation over the lips.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all did it.
No,
okay, Emma did. Emma was like, no, my standard in East London was a little bit different.
And I was not with the orange foundation line around the cheek. I went to school with girls like that, they didn't put the
blend down the
foundation
neck.
into the neck.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't do that myself. But my hairstyles were different. I would slick my hair back. I'm the whitest person here, but I would have little edges, and because all my friends were.
Yeah, and you just want to fit in with everyone, don't you? You want to do it.
trying out different hairstyles.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was me, guys. Just
no, I've got to be honest. I think we had a few dodgy things down in Essex. I think East London obviously skipped it, but here in Essex,
things
there was,
just in different ways.
Yeah, just different ways. But we definitely, I would say, we had more awkward stages. I don't think kids now do.
No, they just look brilliant straight away. Like the girls, if you think about their makeup,
So
their
jealous.
hair, just brilliant.
Even their fashion, they're just so like,
Yeah.
so classy now. I'm just like, oh.
Yeah.
My daughters walk around in like the most cutest little like strap tops and jeans, and everything's just, I don't know, it's just got a style about it. And Layla's very into her vintage thing, and their hair is immaculate. They know exactly what to put in their hair. They go to bed with silk bonnets on.
But also they have the
damage.
There's no damage. They do have the products as well. Like I would straighten my hair with an iron. Like
Yes,
I would towel on
everyone
one hand
did.
and straighten with an iron.
Everyone
because,
did back
you
then.
know, but the girls have got all sorts of
got like heat protect
stuff.
sprays and serums
Yeah.
and oils and Olaplex like treatments. I'm just like, what?
the hair dryers with the brush on the end and all of that.
We had a makeup
we
wipe
didn't have
and
that.
foundation lips. Like, mate, what?
Yeah.
Like, I'm so jealous.
Yeah,
I wish I could look back at those photos and think, look how beautiful I am.
Yeah.
Instead, I'm like, hide that, mum. Hide it.
Yeah.
Burn them photos. Don't anyone know that there was a side of me that looked like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the trends, they're fine, but they just need to be controlled a little bit. The youngsters that are putting products on their skin that is not needed. And some of the trends are dangerous, but as long as you're getting the right information from the right people, and also making sure that your parents are happy with it, or your guardian, whoever's looking after you, because there are kids buying stuff that they shouldn't be buying. They have no idea what they're doing. Like the amount of young girls, like even with me with waxing, I just put that as an example, that are buying home wax kits and just ripping the skin off them. They've got no clue what they're doing, but you know, we'll have to have a dodgy stage if that's their dodgy stage.
Maybe that's it.
That's their dodgy stage.
I do, you know, and as parents, I think it's our responsibility to talk to them about those things that are coming up. I think I've always tried to say to my children, well, one, I don't care what so-and-so is doing. I
care about what you're doing.
Yeah, and if I'm saying no to this game, for example, or product or whatever, then that's what I'm saying. And we're not always... I always use the example of freckles and ginger hair as an example, right? When we were kids, ginger hair and freckles, people would get bullied for having those things.
They're actually seen as really cool. There's models out there.
Well, now we're hennaing, we're getting tattoos, that we're going as far as tattooing. Hair, everyone's got copper hair and gorgeous ginger, like, you know, different tones.
Do you know, like, when I was younger, I've always had a big bum. 5 foot, big butt. It's okay. I get what I am, and I love my skin I'm in. I used to have the mick taken out of me because back when I was younger, the fashion was a runner's physique.
Yes.
Small bum, no curves, really like you were like a marathon runner.
Yeah.
Which actually runners come a bit in fashion again. I've noticed
They
runners
are,
a bit
but
more in fashion.
big bums are
but
great.
big bums have now there's love for big bum. And when I was younger, I used to get like not bullied, but people used to make comments to the point where I had a nickname, Bubble Butt. And my first email address was, I'm not going to give you my old email address, but it actually had bubble bum in it.
Yeah.
That was my nickname.
But
and now to all those that took the mick out of me, girl, my butt is in fashion and I haven't had to squat.
There you go. And this is exactly my point. Like, if we're trying to keep up with the
round.
trends, if we're trying to keep up with what everybody's opinion is of what's good, you blink and it's changed.
And it's changed,
It's something else. So you're going to be constantly chasing after the next trend. So let's just embrace you.
Embrace
do
who you are. Yeah.
And then you're going to have a much more comfortable life because you're not constantly running. So
Good girl, Emma. You've just wrapped that up perfect. I love that.
Yeah.
I think we're going to call that... Call that the day. We could go chatting forever, me and Emma.
No,
we would literally get us two together.
Imagine in a 15-minute appointment, we're like...
The speed that comes out of my mouth. I'm
literally.
like, right, butterfly pose. She's like that, knickers off. I'm talking about everything. We have literally, in the space of 15 minutes, she's got a smooth bikini and we have literally spoke about family life, gym life, work.
Yeah.
Probably slagging off, my husband for not doing the washing or something crazy. It would just all sorts come out, and honestly, we can get it all out. So there's so much that we could have spoken about today, but I'm really, really grateful for you coming on today, Emma, and I'm so glad that I get to share this amazing human being that I got in my life 3-4 years ago, however long it's been. Go get your skin checked. Make sure you're keeping a note of things and anything that we spoke about. Is there any trends that you guys have maybe come across or have even tried yourself or your kids? kids or anything like that, and you're either a no-go or you think has been a blessing in disguise, pop them in the comments because I'd love to hear if there's others. And thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and thank you, Emma. Mwah, much love. Thanks for coming on.